blossoming through me into living art. As I let go and let God take my hand, I let go and let God design my sacred plan. I let go and let God tend to my what and where. I let go and let God lead me there. I let go and let God. I let go and let God.
Good morning, New Thought, Philadelphia. I'm so delighted to be in the presence. Yeah, I know. We got to learn a new way to clap out loud on Zoom, right? That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I am so delighted to be in the presence, the virtual presence, of such bright luminaries, absolutely embodiments of divine love. Please repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to the good surrounding.
I open myself to the good surrounding.
Me.
And I know love is right here, right now.
I know love is right here, right now.
Right now.
And so it is.
So it is.
So I'm Reverend Dave Schpok. Next up is Reverend Bill Marchiony. Our music today is by the absolutely delightfully, gloriously, technologically able Deb Chamberlin.
Yay. And clap. New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. So whatever brought you into our gathering today, wherever you're headed next, we have been waiting for you. We have been expecting you. And welcome. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we each use that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. Or as we like to say, our new life begins with a new thought. So if you have any additional extraneous technology other than what's required to join in the Zoom meeting this morning, please go ahead and turn it on silent for the rest of the time so that you're not distracted and you can focus in on connecting with community. And we are live on the Zoom meeting. Facebook is having some technical difficulties, so we are not streaming on Facebook right now. The world has changed rather dramatically in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and technology companies are doing an amazing job, but have a little bit of catching up still to do. So we'll work that out. We begin our celebration as we begin everything with a practical prayer. Our practitioner of the day today is Joe Catanzaro, RSCP, who will do our opening.
Take a deep. One source, one energy, one mind, one intelligence, one love. It's all love. Called spirit, God, nature, the force, whatever you choose. It's all of that. Each one of us, each individual here now has been created, energized, brought into being by that one source. It's made us body, mind, and spirit. It works in us and through us and as us so that we each use that same power and presence. We're separate individuals, all connected by the same source. I know that today's celebration is guided, inspired by this one power. We use this power that it has given us to make this happen. The words, the music, the experience, the sharing, all of it enlivens us, connects us, and renews us, gives us faith to remember the truth of who we really are, that we are part of that one love, that we are connected. And so I claim this good for today's celebration, for everyone here. I claim this good for today and for tomorrow, for all of us. And I'm grateful for all of the good that unfolds in our lives as we go through the rest of this week, this month, and on. And so I release this word to the creative law, to the power that has always said yes from the beginning of time. And so it is.
Thank you, Joe. And of course, the purpose for doing a practical prayer is to get a real world result, some change of experience. If there's somebody who has a prayer work story that you'd like to share, go ahead and hit your unmute button and let us know what it is. And I have a couple. But...
Hey, everybody. So
Hey.
I was praying for prosperity, as I usually am. And then Kate found out that the weeks she's been working, she got paid double time. And then, yeah, we were like, what? Well, first it was a $2 an hour raise. And then we were like, awesome. And then I was like, I couldn't imagine how we would get more money, but I was like, who needs to imagine? You just put it out there and then it's going to come back to us. Then she got the double time, and then there's something else with prosperity. Oh, we locked in for an interest rate. We're buying our home that we've been renting, and we ended up getting a 0.25% better interest rate after we already locked in. The lady told us we got it even better. So money is flowing.
I love it. Jesus, did you have something you want to say? Jesus going by the name of Galaxy Note 8.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing all right. You got a prayer work story for us?
Well, everything is happening so smooth. Every day been like a prayer day for me.
Do you mind if I share your prayer for safety story?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I will go ahead and do that. Jesus, by the way, is walking through the airport, so I'm going to leave you on mute as I tell the story. We do a couple times a day, we do a meditation, prayer and check-in kind of community call. Anybody is welcome to join us. And Jesus, who is in the midst of his work driving people's cars back from Florida, was pulled over to the side of the interstate outside of Jacksonville, Florida. And the prayer that we did in that meditation was, among other things, for safety. And we could hear the emergency blinker on his car because he wanted to be safe while he was there. So we included safety in the prayer. And while the prayer was going on, a police car pulled over another car right in front of Jesus. So they actually pulled right in front of him. So smack dab in front of him is a police car with the lights on top warning people off. So escalated the safety right there before we even got to so it is. Anybody else have one to share? All right. We have some announcements. That would be Sandy.
Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. Please join the Philly Spiritual Adventures group on meetup.com. The group includes our classes, workshops, events, and Sunday celebration, as well as new programs at various times and locations. Add your energy, and we'll have an easy place to let fellow adventurers know who will be at a gathering. I need the next slide. Great. Daily online meditation, prayer, and support calls are open to all and will focus on health, harmony, peace, and prosperity in the face of the uncertainty caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Monday through Friday, the calls are at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., Saturday at 10:30 a.m., and Sunday at 6 p.m. Updated Zoom meeting instructions are on Meetup and the website. Our Beyond Limits is our foundational class in New Thought, Ancient Wisdom, which is open to all. The next course begins on Wednesday, April 28th. Spiritual Practices is an advanced online class that began Monday. Tomorrow is the last chance to join. The Women's Circle will meet Thursday, April 23rd by Zoom online. For details, contact Joe or myself. Reverend Bill leads the New Thought Teen Group at CSL Delaware today at 1:30 on Zoom. Contact him if you have a teen who'd like to take part. We're now able to accept donations and payments via credit cards in addition to PayPal. The new secure credit card platform also supports recurring donations. Reach it through the donate button on the website. Reverends Bill and Dave are available for spiritual counseling and healing prayer by appointment, and our practitioners are available for healing prayer sessions. Our practitioners are Breen and Joe. Contact them through the website. After the celebration, the practitioner of the day offers Miracle in a Minute sessions at no charge. Joe will be waiting for you online. Reach out by chat or email to joe@newthoughtphilly.org to set up a brief phone call. And we'll leave the Zoom meeting on after the celebration to answer questions and allow you to talk to each other.
Thank you, Sandy. So usually what we do when we're meeting in person is we have a special gift and a blessing for the people who have joined us for the second time. And it's really not a good way to count, but everybody who's joined us for the first time while we're meeting virtually gets to be a second time visitor when we go back to meeting in person. And if you'd really like to get one of the lovely gift sets of the Bright Light of God's Love, a little flashlight, and a matching pen, send us an email and we'll figure out how to get you one, because we are grateful for you. Is there anybody who is joining us this morning for the first time? If you just wave into your camera, we'll be able to see. Let's see if there's somebody who's new for the first time. You can't necessarily tell. So anyway, what we will do is let's all give each other a blessing. So rub your hands together, generate some warmth. It's kind of a chilly morning, so it's a good time to do that. Just send that warmth and love out to everybody who is on this celebration call today, and every member of our community, and the loved ones and friends, knowing that you are the bright light of God's love. Thank you so much for the way that you shine your light and share your love. And welcome home. So as we begin the next song, normally we like to go around and hug each other. We're not going to get a chance to do that. So you can change your screen around to Brady Bunch view and just kind of wave at each other. Deb?
I'd gladly walk, well, I would whisper love so loudly, every heart would understand. Love and only love can join the tribes of men. I would give my heart's desires so that you might see. The first step is to realize it all. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Thank you, Deb. That's beautiful. And it's so wonderful to be able to look around the group and see, you know, it's that story, good news, bad news, who can tell? the group has broadened out quite substantially because in addition to Pennsylvania and New Jersey, we've got some folks who are joining us. Wow, there's Hannah joining us from New Orleans, and then we've got California and now Portugal. So we are truly global here. So what a blessing this is. We now have the Flames of Faith. I think that's going to be Bream, yes?
Yes, it is. All right. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As Dina lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. Blessed be.
Blessed be. We need to change the end of that. Instead of anyone or any place, I think it should be everyone in every place. You used to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love, because it's brought to mind that there are a bunch of people and a bunch of places going on at this point. Our reading today is brought to us by Joe.
Today's reading is from The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. This book couldn't possibly cover all the teachings on abundance that have flowed through the channels of ageless wisdom, and which have then been adapted by Western culture and reinterpreted as spiritual metaphysics. The concept of all sufficiency was a building block of essentially all philosophical and religious systems in their original form until the 2nd century AD, when the war against self-knowledge and self-reliance began. The ancients taught that to understand oneself was to understand God, and through the process of meditation, one could release the divine energy from within and transmute discord into harmony, ignorance into wisdom, fear into love, and lack into abundance. The initiate was trained to conceive the highest and noblest ideas as the vision for manifestation, and then to identify the symbols of the vision with the master spirit within, the source of all. Students of the mysteries were also instructed in the use of the innate radiatory and magnetic powers in exercising dominion, by working with the rhythmic energy of self, whatever form that was needed for exchange, the legal tender at that time, was brought forth as an instrument of goodwill. As such, money was simply a token of appreciation of one's service, a symbol of love and integrity. Regardless of the level of instruction, one particular teaching remained constant throughout the initiation process. mind and emotions embodying love, gentleness, and peace eliminated limitation. That is, such a consciousness of harmlessness freed an individual from the bonds and restrictions of human thought. The mystery schools of Asia, Egypt, Persia, and Greece provided an invaluable service to humankind by reawakening the spiritual powers in a core group of dedicated men and women. The knowledge of harmony and fulfillment continued in sacred books and secret teachings, in the Hebrew Kabbalah, in the beliefs of Hindu and Buddhist mystics, in the Gnostic writings of early Christianity, and in certain pages not removed from the Bible.
I hear you cry behind the door. Dreams all crashed upon the floor, wondering what this life is for, what is real, what is true. When the questions pile up, when the stars crumble to dust, when the sparkle turns to rust, what will become of me and you? I know not where or when or why, and only God knows what, but in my ear an angel whispers, listen for love. Listen for love. I wake up in a darkened room, my eyes squinting in the gloom, a sense of heavy-hearted doom wants to lull me back to sleep, but in my dreams we meet again, the embers of a long-lost friend. I pray it's not too late to mend all the vows we didn't keep. No, not where or when or why, and only God knows what. In my ear, an angel whispers, listen for love. Listen for love. Hear love glisten. Oh, just listen. I know not where or when or why, and only God knows what, but in my ear an angel whispers, listen for love. Listen for love. Listen for love.
Thank you, Deb. That was delightful. So what a beautiful morning it is. Isn't it just great to wake up with joy and peace and love and absolute surety of safety in our lives every moment? Having a little trouble with that this morning? It's possible. I mean, there's a lot of conditional aspects of the world right now that are challenging our inner peace and balance. So for the next about 15 minutes or so, I'm going to ask you to suspend your disbelief. And also, while we're at it, to suspend our negative beliefs just for a little bit. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go on a little journey of upliftment. And it all begins by recognizing what we're seeing is what we're seeing with. So if we happen to be focusing all of our attention on the potential drama and fear of everything that we seem to think is going on right now, and I'm not discounting it, believe me, I'm really not. But from a personal aspect, if what we are focusing on is all of that, are we making the situation better or are we adding to the confusion? Because here's the good news and the bad news. There's a power. That power has all of the intelligence and all of the power required to bring about absolutely anything. And here's the trick of it. It doesn't care what that anything is. It is not making a judgment about how we use the power. Okay? So the thoughts that we place into this power are reflected back and activate that power to bring about what we end up experiencing. This is true individually. This is true collectively. And ultimately, collectively, we're imagining some pretty scary stuff at the moment. And that's understandable. But there's an opportunity. This power, this presence that we sometimes call spirit, we sometimes call it God, sometimes we call it whatever we call it, by whatever name we call it. We look to it and we want to bring about a better experience of what we're having. Yet the responsibility for beginning that process is nowhere but inside ourselves. We cannot delegate that to someone else. We cannot point fingers at other people and say, they are doing a terrible job of this. They should have known. If there's a power that responds to every idea that is implanted into it, what does that idea generate? When we point fingers and think somebody else is responsible for our experience of life. We have given away any power that we might assume that we would have individually and therefore collectively to someone else's responsibility. And then chosen to sit back and complain about it. That is the perpetration of our negative beliefs upon the world. That is our fear that there is in fact not joy, love, peace, harmony, and abundance available to us in this very moment now. And so we express that outwardly in the hopes that our expressions of negativity will be correlated and validated by the people to whom we are expressing it. And so it is. This is the nature of individual responsibility in a collective. We become responsible for what we're thinking. So here's a breath of fresh air. What if, instead of fear, we thought about creativity? What if that creativity was to sit with ourselves and to explore the possibilities of how I can creatively express life better right now? What can I do in this moment that is good for myself and good for the collective of humanity, and then act upon it? What if, instead of blame, we accepted responsibility, that it is my responsibility to actually have uplifting thoughts? To, instead of focus on the fear, focus on the opportunity to love, the opportunity to share compassion, the opportunity to look for the good that this current condition is bringing out in so many people. And to focus upon that, to cheer that on, to bring our enthusiasm, our life itself. That's what enthusiasm is, the God embodied within. Our life and our enthusiasm to expressing the good that is happening right now. What if what we have going on right now in the exterior world is the opportunity for us to turn within and examine our responses to this situation and to determine whether or not they are in fact the ones that we want to be experiencing? Now, none of this denies the condition that we happen to be experiencing right now, whether that's isolation or feeling overwhelmed or afraid or whatever it happens to be. But we can choose not to engage in those thoughts of fear, lack, and limitation, and to turn our awareness to some aspect of good so that we personally can experience that good. So if we find ourselves, and I must admit I do this on occasion, I find myself judging someone else's response to the current conditions. I was out at Walmart yesterday, and I found myself in my mask and gloves, walking around, judging all of the people who had chosen to do it differently. And my mind did this for a few moments until I realized that what I was doing was I was projecting my fear and negativity upon them rather than to say, that's fine. They're going to do what they're going to do, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I choose to do it this way. Now, I can stay in judgment about what they're doing, but I can't actually do anything about it. What I can do is adjust my sails in the wind and activate the responsibility that I feel right now to feel love and compassion. Because what's really going on is that people are sitting there trying to understand a new way of being without many guidelines about it and not wanting to succumb to their own fear. And all of a sudden, what that does for me is to activate my compassion. To recognize that here is something that I resonate with, that I understand deeply, and that I can share empathy for this person's condition. But it's just that, it's a condition. Conditions are reflective of our thinking. You see, there's this power, it's neutral, and it's responding to us. And as it responds to us, we get to experience more and more of what we're tending to think about. And I say this often, and I'll say it repeatedly, and I'll probably say it again in the future. But in this very moment now, I know that if I focus my awareness on the good that is life, on the joy that is breathing right now, on the happiness of life itself, the gratitude for being able to express and live and recognize all these things, the abundance that is apparent not only in my life, but in the life of the world, then all of a sudden I find myself looking at the world a little differently, feeling that the situation is not hopeless. It may be a challenge, but a challenge has two sides. It can seem impossible, but it's also an opportunity for success. And we have so many things that are successfully going on now. People are talking. Even if it's across an electronic universe, people are who usually don't get together are getting together. And they're communicating with each other, and they're supporting each other. They're looking for the good in humanity to come about right now. And as we look in that direction, that's what begins to happen. There can be challenges in our lives. In fact, if there were no challenges in our lives, my belief is that there would be no growth. We would not move. Maybe I should just say this for myself. I am a complacent being. I love to sit on the couch and do nothing. I'm perfectly happy having somebody else take the responsibility to do that. Until it becomes a challenge for me. And when it becomes a challenge for me, I actually find that I have to grow into being more than a couch potato to do something differently, to extend myself, whether it be in compassion for self or others, or effectiveness in doing something that I've never done before. But I have to extend myself to grow into being something greater. And sometimes where that begins is in our thinking. Frankly, all the time that's where it begins. But when we say sometimes, we give ourselves a little leeway to stay on the couch if we so choose. Always in our consciousness, we are at a place where we can choose to accept whatever the conditions are in life as an opportunity for success. An opportunity to overcome what seems to be an obstacle to our expression of love, peace, harmony, joy, abundance, all of the good that is natural to our being. And to overcome those obstacles by being more of that which we choose to experience in the world. So I invite you, as you go about this process of social distancing, to find ways to communicate, to express love, to express empathy, while maintaining those safe practices that we are trying to do right now. Because at the very core of this, we are love. At the very core of this, we are life itself embodied as intelligence and consciousness. And that consciousness is what is bringing forward the best in us. We have the opportunity to overcome the negativity that we have been taught, the fear which we have accepted. We have that opportunity to convert those into a deep sense of unity, not only with ourselves, our families, and our local community, but with the world at large. We have an opportunity here in this condition of crisis to actually create unity and peace. What an opportunity that is. What a choice we have to make. And that choice begins within. It can begin nowhere else. We can't wait for somebody else to be the first one to do that. Because as we recognize that it is our responsibility, that we are the authors of our experience, then no one else can use our power to create something new. It must come from within. It must come from within us. And I know that it does. I've watched it happen in so many ways. So when you're cruising the internet, I'm going to ask for some balance here. When you're cruising the internet, you've just read an entire 2 or 3 hours, because we've got a lot to do in our spare time now, 2 or 3 hours of negative news about something that's going on in the world, not to name names, right? I invite you to then go and look for some positive news to at least balance that out. And just honestly ask yourself, which one of these makes you feel better? Which one of these makes you feel hopeful? That we are up to the challenge of the day, that humanity in and of itself has an inherent goodness that is expressing itself in this particular condition. And if the answer is on the positive side, great. Why don't you add to it? Why don't you fulfill that to the top level of your consciousness? Bring it up so much that what you are thinking in every moment is peace, harmony, love, joy, abundance, vitality for not only ourselves, but for everyone. And as we do that, the negative side becomes a little less dramatic. So as we go forward, I invite you to be the compassion that you wish to receive, to be the love that you wish to receive, to express the abundance that you wish to receive, to be a fully awakened human being. Bless you all.
Still your mind, dry your tears. I heard the angels whisper in my ear. Open your eyes. You don't have to be afraid. You are here to walk in faith. So I pray, pour your light through me. This mystic soul needs your light to see. As I bathe in your mystery, I feel my spirit rise. Your light moves my feet toward my highest destiny. You make it simple to believe the glory in my eyes. Darkness looms for those who fear the truth. My eyes only see the way to you. That way is love, and I have seen her face. I am here to walk in grace. Come on, pour your light through me. This mystic soul needs your light to see.
And Joe, our practitioner of the day, is going to lead us in a meditation.
I'm just getting the music set up. So get comfortable in your chairs. Feet can be flat on the floor, sitting up straight. The important thing is you're just comfortable and feel that support of whatever position, whatever chair you're in. And now just begin to breathe from your abdomen. Feel the belly rise as you take that breath in. Allow yourself to center and settle into that place inside where you know from your source. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, and then release. So breathe in, hold it, and release. And once more. Breathe in, hold it, and release. One final breath. And release. And now just focus on your breath. Just feel the rhythm as you breathe in and out. Try to keep breathing from your belly. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Just gently guide it back to the sensation of breathing. And as you breathe, think about harmlessness, the quality of harmlessness, and how that generates harmony and peace and power. How it blocks limitation or shatters limitations. And as you breathe in, breathing that peace and power and harmony. And as you exhale, breathe out harmlessness into the world.
And so in this stillness, I invite you to consider love and joy and peace and happiness, abundance. And I speak this word on behalf of each one on this call, each one within the sound of my voice, knowing that there is an infinite source, a divine mind, an unconditioned field of love and creativity that is permeating and saturating all of creation with the goodness of its being. It is life itself, one, whole and complete. And so I know that I live, move, and have my being as an expression of this divine mind, a channel of love, an embodiment of wisdom and harmony. That God consciousness expressed in a unique and wonderful way. And this is true of each one on this call, that same infinite wisdom, that same allness of love and harmony is embodied and expressing in an individual form. And each one of us has a name. In the mind of God, that is whole and complete. For it is that spiritual essence that embodies itself as each one. And so I know the very essence of spirit is love. And that love is present fully in all of its parts and therefore is present within the individualized form of each one. It is expressing in harmonious, joyous relationships, easily and effortlessly resolving all challenge and difficulty, because it is the harmony of the one life knowing itself in relationship to itself. I know that creative source which created everything is embodied in its fullness in the individual form of each one on this call and each one everywhere, that it is bubbling forth with the expression of the very nature of its own being, bringing forward new ideas, new inspirations, new intuitions, allowing for a greater expression of the creativity and the nature of its being through each one and everyone. I also know that this infinite source from which everything is emerging is present, again, in its fullness, in every part of its being, is therefore present in the experience and life of each one. It must be present now, and that is allowing itself to express as the fullness of prosperity and joy in all of its forms. And so with this goodness in mind, I know that each one is whole and complete in the mind of spirit and is unfolding through the channel of individuality to express itself as good and more good, now and always. So I just give thanks to speak this word of recognition, to speak this word of truth, to know that the good is present here and now as it is expressing through us, around us, and in us. I know that there is a law that has responded in the affirmative from the very beginning of time to every idea that has ever been implanted in it, and to this idea of good and more good. It is responding with a loud and loving yes. And I know it is so. So it is. I invite you to just take another deep breath. Become centered in that awareness of the good that is in it and invite you.
This next song is another original song, and as you listen to it, think of it as a soul prayer. I was holding back, scared to to give it all. Thought if I had nothing left, I would surely fall. I was saving it up, refusing to give. Now I know that I was refusing to live, but I have seen the light, and I'm gonna make it right. No more holding back just to survive. I'm gonna find a way to give my best every day and receive the gifts of this life. Yeah, I'm gonna thrive. I'm gonna thrive. There's no such thing as scarcity or lack, 'cause everything we give, it's always coming back. And every time we refuse to believe, we are simply refusing to receive. But when we see the light, then we can make it right and stop holding back just to survive. We can find a way to give our best every day. We'll receive the gifts of this life, and we're gonna thrive. We're gonna thrive. So let your guard down, reach your hand out, let your love flow. It's time that you know, when you see the light, then you can make it right and stop holding back just to survive. If you can find a way to give your best every day, you'll receive the gifts of this life, and you're gonna thrive. You're gonna thrive. We're gonna thrive. Oh,
Wow. And again, wow. That was beautiful, Deb. Thank you. So, this is the opportunity that we like to give the community to check in and see if any insights have come up that you'd like to share with the rest of us. To kind of keep it from getting into a pandemonium of everyone sharing at once, if you just raise your hand, we can unmute you and share anything that's come up you'd like to. Jesus.
Yes, good morning. I want to thank New Thought for this wonderful idea, keeping us connected. Now I know what David said when my cup running over. The music right there been terrific from start to finish. What I got out of your message is to show compassion, love, unity, and not only to ourselves, which we had spoken about that a couple of weeks ago, but to think about the person next to you, to the stranger, to your family. That's what I got, you know. Don't think, Jesus, don't think too much of yourself. Think about the next man. And I want to thank you for those words, Reverend Dave. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. Anyone else?
I think Joe wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to share some good news. I forget whether it was Reverend Bill or Dave who mentioned that, but I read this great story about a 14-year-old young man in Chestnut Hill who was able to borrow 3D printers from his high school. And he is making plastic face shields, he and his parents. And he's donated some to children, I think it was St. Chris's or Children's, Chestnut Hill Hospital, and I forget the other hospital, but they are committed to producing these things. It costs about $4 or $5 to make, and as he makes them, he's donating them. It just blew me away. I just thought that was phenomenal. So there's a lot. I tried to notice yesterday on the news how many good stories I heard, and there were quite a few. So I made that commitment, and I really did find them.
Thank you, Joe. Annie, hang on a sec. Let me unmute you.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Annie.
Dave, your words made me think of compassion and the abundance as a healthcare provider that's coming to us. The mask, actually, I got one of those masks at my job that was handed out to me. And everything being connected, this sounds kind of cheesy, but that day for homeschooling, learning for my daughter, we learned about 3D printing. And I never really knew anything about 3D printing. And then I get to work and they give me this mask. And it seems so simple, but it was so much more protective than the goggles that I had been given. And the goggles kept fogging up and I couldn't see anything. And this mask that this man made cleared everything and was so easy to clean. And every day when I go into work, there's free food. Everyone in the community is sending meals and meals and meals to the hospitals for the healthcare workers. I mean, you know, it is what you choose to focus on. And I've chosen to focus on how well we're being cared for as healthcare workers. You know, every little bit makes a difference, and trying to give back in my community too. Like my hairdresser, you know, she can't cut my hair, but I still have that money. So we gave money to her, and just keeping everything flowing and focusing on the positive. And I don't know if you can see it, but in the background, we drove to North Carolina yesterday. My aunt has a house here that no one lives in, and it's huge. And we have 5 days off, so we decided to spend it here, socially distancing in a house about 5 times as big as the one we normally live in. So I just feel really grateful for this community and for everybody. And, you know, that's what we choose to focus on.
Thank you, Anne. That's beautiful. And thank you for all of your heartfelt work on the front lines there.
I've got one that I want to mention. This is, and what you said in your talk, Dave, it kind of resonated with a concept that has been percolating for me in the last day or two. And that's about stressful situations or difficult times. The situation is what the situation is. And if I call it a stressful situation, that puts all of the power in the situation and makes me a victim to it. Where if I can say, this is the situation and I feel stressed, then I have the ability to interact with it differently, and I'm much more at choice than having it done unto me. So little shades of difference there, but it winds up for me being really powerful.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just want to take a moment and thank all of our 4-footed friends who have been joining us on and off for the celebration. It's delightful to see them wander around and going, oh, look, my humans are here. Let's show some love. It's always fun. Sandy, I believe you're up.
New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We're grateful for every way that you share. We don't have a basket today, but there's a donate button on the website to make a donation by credit card or PayPal. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation's on the screen, and we'll say it together. I live in an abundant universe. I am one with the infinite source of all good. I am a center of conscious prosperity. I enjoy the richness of life. I bless my gift. I share my gift with gratitude and joy. I know that as I give, I do receive.
And so it is.
Okay. So we're going to close out our service today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching afterwards on the playback. We're going to close out with a really fun song. I wouldn't even mind seeing some do-si-doing over there. Make sure your Zoom is on mute, because I'm also going to make sure you're all singing. This is a call and response. In each verse, you can sing every other line with me, which is stay strong and keep your faith alive. Or you can even bring the lyrics up. It's called Stay Strong and Keep Your Faith Alive by David Newman, if you want to bring that up quickly on your Google. But the chorus says, raise your hands. I'm going to say raise your hands, and then I want to see hands in the air. And you say raise your hands, and I say in the air, and you say in the air. And then we all sing stay strong and keep your faith alive. And then I sing take a stand, and you say take a stand, say a prayer, stay strong and keep your faith alive. It's really easy. And I promise you'll feel so great after you sing this song with me. Here we go. May the grace of God bless man and every woman in this land. Here we go. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Whatever comes to meet us, the darkness won't defeat us. Here we go. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Some say the end has come, set our souls a running, but I say stay strong and keep your faith alive. Let's all come together, take care of each other. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Use your heart, here we go, raise your hand in the air. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a step and say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Hand in hand, side by side, with hearts open wide. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Help others find their way, create a heaven here today. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Everybody now, raise your hand up in the air, in the air. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a step and say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Times like this we need to remember what is real and stay strong, keep your faith alive. United in our quest to spread love and happiness. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Everybody raise your head up in the air. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a step and say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Here we go. Rama Rama Bolo,
much, Deb. We accept all the contributions and the gifts, knowing that they go into circulation, supporting us, supporting our community, and supporting the world. So it is.
So since we can't hold hands, I'm going to invite you to take the screen. Let's just do this. Give yourself a big hug. Recognize that you are hugging everybody on this community, everyone everywhere we have thought about today, and just take a moment and feel that love. Say after me. I am the love. I am the light. I share my life and I shine my light. And so it is. Yeah, keep alive. Oh, wonderful. We're going to leave the chat room open for a little while if people want to hang around and chat for a bit. And